What's up? It's Rugged Gabe Wilder, and we're drinking at Mo.
All right, everybody, taking time out before we get this show started. That I want to thank Reaper Apparel for having Drinkin Mo's be a brand ambassador for their clothing line. They got good stuff. They got t-shirts, they got hoodies, they got beanies, they got lots of great stuff. Encouraging everybody to break out of their comfort zone, live their best self, and hey, it's something I try to live every day. Now, be sure when you go and you're finishing filling out your order, use the code Drinking at Moe's, get 10% off, and the link and the code will both be in the description. Let's fucking go. All right, everybody, welcome Drinking at Moe's. Big Mo here. You know the drill by now. YouTube, like, subscribe, share, comment. Hit the notification bell. Helps with that pain in the ass YouTube algorithm. Where most places you can find audio podcasts too. So leave a review there. Definitely helps out. Today, I'm excited to have with me another talent out of Texas, another talent out of Metroplex Wrestling, Rugged Gabe Wilder. How you doing?
Oh, very good. It's a pleasure to be here today. And it's always ruggedly scorny when Gabe Wilder is here.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like we were kind of talking before, getting introduced to you through, the two behind Metroplex with Matthew Palmer and Athena, who, your trainers. So definitely excited to have you on. But before we go into stuff with those two, I have one thing that I like to start off each guest with, and it's what got you started as a fan, and then what got you finally deciding to make that leap into the business.
So, like, the first ever time I saw wrestling was a Monday Night Raw, and it was Jeff Hardy versus Undertaker for the undisputed title in that ladder match.
And that ladder match was epic.
And like, what a good match to start like your any wrestling. And instantly became a Hardy Boy fan, obviously, and you can't deny Undertaker at all.
Oh yeah.
But it took me a while to want to make the jump into pro wrestling. I had that hesitation of like, could I do it, stuff like that. But after joining and doing it, it's just been instant love. Like, I can't get enough of it. Even with all the pain, like, the pain is just worth it.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine, because I mean, I did a pro wrestling boot camp coincidentally at the same hotel. There was a venue attached to the hotel that I was put in the night before I left for Navy boot camp. So I got a laugh out of that day. I'm like, I left here to go to one. Now I'm coming back for another.
Yeah.
And yeah, we took some bumps in that ring, and even a simple fall in that ring could hurt you if you're not prepared for it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, once you feel that, you're like, oh, can I feel that all the time? And but like, as you go through the training and stuff like that, you won't have to do it as much in the sense.
No, that makes sense, because I mean, I've heard that first, especially the first couple of days, can be kind of a real test to make sure who really wants to be there, because some people find out after that first day or two that it's like, well, I don't know if I can take getting my ass kicked every day.
Yeah, it is how I say it a lot. So So I student train under Matt and Athena, learning how to train people as well. Me and my younger brother Tommy Prince. Um, and I always have to say, like, this is not for everybody. Like, it's a real man maker in the sense of like the toughness part.
Oh yeah.
And like I've seen a few people come and go, but like I when I see people come in and want to try it, I know that it's part of their dream because it's my dream too, and I want to
Yep.
help them achieve that too, just because it made it happen for myself.
No, I can totally get it. And yeah, I can imagine it's a bit of a special feeling when you're helping somebody through their training process and you start seeing it really click with them. Like
Mm-hmm.
they can tell they're starting to really get it.
Like I got it like pretty fast. I'm like I progressed pretty fast, but like I didn't feel comfortable in the sense of like doing everything until pretty much this last year. Like it all came together of like how it all should be, of like how you can make yourself better in that sense.
Oh yeah, no, and that makes sense because
It like it's a time thing. That's all this is. It's all
oh,
time.
totally. And it kind of leads into something I was going to ask next about, you know, I like hearing people talk to me about kind of a bit of an origin story about how they came up with their in-ring persona, which I mean we've talked about. It's kind of just you. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a thing that, it comes up a lot when people talk about developing in-ring personas and it just being an extension of yourself, because that brings out that authenticity that, fans can tell, like, okay, we know this guy's legit and he's not just faking something to try to be on the show.
Playing a character instead of being a character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. So like the evolution of me is I just knew I wanted to be original. Like everybody, yeah, they pick some stuff from each wrestler, of course. Um, and I picked a few things from like Stone Cold Steve Austin, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe. It's just like a mixture of stuff. But like what I've what's helped me evolve even more is just learning the character aspect and the psychology aspect of it all. So where how I started, I wasn't even rugged Gabe Wilder. I was just Gabe Wilder. I couldn't figure out how the character stuff worked in the sense.
Mm.
Um, my so my brother actually started with me too. But he like started 3 months later. But
Yeah.
he is a big help as well because he was in theater before all of wrestling. So he had an advantage on me right away with that. But eventually, I found the rugged character so in the sense of how tough and durable I am, of like, because it's pro wrestling. Like you got to be able to take a beating and stuff like that. And I can take a beating. I can give a beating. That's where it came from. It was an extension of the way I grew up in the area I grew up. I wouldn't call it the ghetto, but it was pretty close in the sense of the hard stuff in life. I made it to where rugged was more of like, I would say a hoodlum in the sense, because I was a little hoodlum when I was younger. Um, but like as going from that to now where I am with my brother. So with me and my brother, we're the scorn. It's like a crazy rockers sense, I would say. Um, and with the scorny, so with the scorn, we say a lot of like it's scorning, like everything's scorning to us. We use it as a verb, an adjective, a noun, everything, and just throw it in random stuff. That's just us of more having more fun with it, being goofy like we are.
Mm.
I'm outside of wrestling. I'm very laid back and don't have like a lot of anger in the scene. But like when I step in the ring, there's all my anger. I let it all out, let all that energy out for the fans, and it's very cool to see how people react to me when I don't
Oh,
normally look like a regular wrestler.
oh yeah, and that in a sense, what you were bringing up there, one thing I like about pro wrestling when it's done good, it can be that release for the fans, but in the sense of the way I was taking what you were bringing up there is it's also a bit of a release for you.
Yeah. Wrestling is my safe place. Um, if I didn't have wrestling, I don't know where I'd be, to be honest. Um, because ever since I found wrestling and it's the only thing that in my life that I have just stuck with and that I want to keep sticking with.
Oh yeah, and
It makes it feel like it's my purpose in life.
oh yeah, totally understand. And it's good when people find that, and bringing up that you know the in-show aspect, the performer aspect in the ring might not be for everybody, but because most people don't think of all the jobs that go into a show. Like I know a promoter friend of mine up here was talking about on a post he made about if your dream job in wrestling came up, what would it be? And I actually came up with the idea of here, the podcast gave me the itch for it to be like mine would be a pre-show or post-show host, because I feel like it would fit with the podcast and the interviewing people. I mean, I'm not perfect, but I like to think I've definitely found my rhythm in damn near, I think after this recording, yeah, we'll be right shy of 210 episodes.
Wow.
Like to think that I found my rhythm a little bit, taking pointers from people, constructive criticism. You can improve here, maybe try this. And, I like that. I keep it pretty lighthearted and fun. And the pre-shows that I watch, they tend to have that, lighthearted, but, informing you of what's going on in the show aspect. So, the wrestler side might not be for everybody, but,
there's always
there's other
something
stuff
in
if you want
wrestling
to
for
get
something
involved.
for somebody. Yeah, I firmly agree. There's always something for somebody. Um, if it's not in the business, at least a fan. Just being a fan of pro wrestling. Love
That
them or
too.
hate them. Love them or hate them. They are passionate.
Oh yeah, I've been lucky enough to be in the crowd for some, especially for talked about a Revolver. I've been handful of shows, interviewed a handful of people that have gone through there, and I have to say that every show that I've been a part of, it just seems like it's a damn party the whole time.
Uh,
Band's very passionate, so I can understand.
I have gotten the pleasure to be on two Revolver shows, and each time I've loved it. It's so different compared to other shows in the sense too. Just
Oh,
that the way the crowd erupts, I'm just give me more.
oh man, I have a category towards the end of the episode where you know I have some random questions, but we'll go into that a little later. But one thing that actually, when you brought that up, it reminded me of something that I sometimes talk about in that category, where it was my first ever like legit death match was at a Revolver show. It was Jake Chris versus Joel Bateman, and like they
Oh,
took
wow.
4 folding chairs, bridged 2 panes of glass on there, and then Bobby Olson comes in with lighter fluid.
Deathmatch is just something else. I'll say that for sure. I've actually done one. And when I did that one, it was weirdly fun. It felt like a normal match, just more blood involved. That's it. Uh, I didn't do the normal stuff of like tags, barbed wires, because tags scare me. I'm not gonna lie. But weirdly, glass didn't bother me. But it was super fun. I will definitely be interested in talking about doing more for if the right thing comes along. But uh, that was an eye opening of another part of pro wrestling for me.
Oh yeah. And the way, I've been lucky enough to have some pretty big names in the deathmatch world on. And the thing that always comes up is it's pretty much like any other genre of wrestling. It's just surrounded by the deathmatch elements.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about Metroplex. Matthew Palmer, Athena got their hand and stuff there. And, they had a great 2023, including one of those Revolver shows, being down there in Texas.
Yep.
Kind of a partnership there with MPX. And, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure that there's one either coming up or it has already happened this year.
There's one coming up in February 13th.
Ah, yes. Yeah. I see. February, I got it down there. But yeah, that card from the bits that they've announced so far is like, okay, this is going to be something pretty awesome. Yeah. I mean, I think there's Masha Slamovich versus, I'm brain fart here. Married to Roderick Strong.
Marina Shafir.
Marina Shafir. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I was like, holy crap, I feel bad for pulling a brain fart here, but it's like, wow, that match is going to be one.
I can't remember all the matches that are happening, but I know from what I've seen, I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't remember every match that I've seen announced. There's been a good handful announced, but, that I know the one that for me jumped right out at me was that Masha Slamovich versus Marina Shafir. I'm like, makes me think of, something good old JR would say all the time, that match being a slobber knocker.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah, that one's going to be hard hitting. And excuse me 1 second. Get my. This is the part of the show where having my dogs down here can be a bit of a chore. They get into stuff they shouldn't be. Anyways, yeah, that show is going to be nice. And then Metroplex actually has another show coming up here, the Texas Rumble.
This weekend.
And we're coming off, as of recording this, we're coming off the heels of the Royal Rumble. Now, I mean, I've always been a fan, of that particular show. And hell, that type of match, really. It's always been, people talk about WrestleMania being, what the hell are you getting? There we go again. But people always talk about WrestleMania being their favorite show. For me, it's always been the Royal Rumble.
Because there's no telling what will happen at the Rumble of like who returns and who will win in the spins, because there's pretty much 30 outcomes.
Oh yeah, and hell, even the last couple, I'd say the women's Rumbles have been better than the men's ones.
Yeah.
Like the one that just happened, Jordan Grace, the TNA Knockouts champion, was in it. Like,
and boy, did she look damn good in there.
Oh man, she
She
did
fucking
amazing.
killed it.
Oh yeah. Like when I saw her come out, yeah, I was excited, but then there was that part of me that was a little bit worried, like, oh God, outsider coming in. What are they gonna do? And then, gosh, she did awesome. But going back to Metroplex, the Texas Rumble, what are you looking forward to in that particular show?
I'm just looking forward to it in general. I think this is like I'm gonna say fourth or fifth. I'm not 100% sure, but anytime I'm in it, it is always fun. Last year I got to be in there when it was just me and Shane Taylor, and
Ooh.
that was like in getting reactions in the sense of they're wanting me to overcome on Shane Taylor. I'm like, yeah, I damn sure appreciate it. I was like, but I had some good moments in there, and just being able to just do stuff with Shane Taylor was awesome that day.
Oh,
And I wasn't in it that long, but I did not care. I was like, cool, I'm in here with Shane Taylor. Hell yeah.
oh yeah, that's something in and of itself. Somebody his caliber and stature and everything that he's accomplished, and getting to share the ring with him even for a short amount of time, it's something pretty awesome.
And I've met him before that, and every time I've talked to him, he's always cool, and we're super cool. And then seeing that I was in there with him, I was like, finally, yes. It was pretty awesome.
That is awesome. Now,
And even my brother had a chance at him too. So I was like, hey, look at that. We got to be in
hey,
there with Shane Taylor.
that is awesome. Now, trying to remember, they have some other big matches going on there, but what's some of the stuff, for people that will watch this, what is some of the stuff that you have going on with Metroplex Wrestling, being, Rugged Gabe Wilder, because one thing I like with this podcast is getting to, put some shine on people outside of, their general area, their home area, more eyes on lots of people. That's been my thing.
Mm-hmm. Uh, with MPX, so currently, right now, I am MPX Tag Team Champion. Me and my brother won them. I don't remember how long ago. It was probably like a month or two. But and then he had recently gotten injured. So in stepped in our baby sister Hilda. So we still been able to hold on to those tag titles. And currently, I'm gonna be going into the Rumble as MPX Tag Champ.
Nice. Yeah, what kind of a Freebird rule sort of thing,
Yeah,
keeping it in the family, but somebody in the family is that other part of it. So
I love the free bird rule in that aspect, so I didn't have to like instantly drop it.
that I like that too, because it's always been a thing with tag team wrestling. As much as I'm a fan of it, there was always that thing when one half gets injured, it's like, oh well, now what the hell are they gonna do? But then you have that third person that you can flip in there if something were to come up with one. Hey, boom, you got that problem figured out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, another promotion I saw advertised on your page that I am somewhat familiar with, when all the people that I've had on, was Hot Pro Wrestling.
Pro wrestling.
What do you got going on there? Because I mean,
uh,
like I said, I'm familiar with it through some of the guests that I've had on, but some of the storylines and this and that, maybe not so much, because I don't get to watch it near as much as people locally might.
mm-hmm. They've actually been a growing company since I think the beginning of 2023 or even 2022. And I've had the pleasure of being there for their beginning shows. And me and Tommy are currently tag team champions there too.
Nice.
Going on over 200 days, I know.
Ooh, that's quite the title reign there.
Yeah, and we will be back February 18th.
Nice. Yeah,
I know it's their
February's
next
turning out to
show,
be a
Wrestle Bowl 3, their next show.
yes, that's the one that I saw on there. I think the poster that I saw was actually, I'm gonna say, the Exodus Prime match, which, I mean, I'm familiar with him. With, stuff came up when trying to get him on. Not anything bad, just scheduling stuff. Get him on.
Exodus is my guy. I've been around him since I started at MPX, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, when I first started at MPX, I was a tag team with my brother. And then we separated to where I joined the heel faction, and Exodus was in that heel faction. So, I've been around him since my whole career.
Oh, yeah.
And him being just learning from him, too, has been awesome, too, because, like, just little things he can actually help you with, too, of just, like, movement. Because if you've seen the guy wrestle, boy, can he wrestle.
Oh, yeah.
He is literally like a video game character.
Totally. Yeah, I've seen certain matches here and there, and then I kind of get a laugh out of some of the introduction that I had to him was actually through some of the AEW matches that he had on Dark, or getting, no offense, squashed on TV. But he did his job, and he at a time where they didn't seem to bring back too many people multiple times for TV matches, he got brought back a good chunk of times. So he had to have been doing something right.
Exactly.
Now, I do have my two categories here, where first one's a bit of a name game, where I name off some people and you give me some quick thoughts on them. Now, with Texas, each of these people has that connection to Texas. One of them has actually been a past guest of the show. That actually, as of recording this we'll start off with them. This person, their episode comes out this coming Friday. And I'm talking about Brick Savage.
Oh, I love Brick. I have not gotten the pleasure to be in the ring with Brick, and Brick does want to face me because I mess with Brick 24/7, just so when we do get to, I was like, I know Brick won't hold back at all.
Oh yeah, he definitely is that type that he ain't gonna hold back. Like, I remember, I think it was after I had already scheduled him coming on, that little clip where I talked to them about it, that it reminded me of Hulk whipping around Loki in one of the Avengers movies by his leg, where like he just literally picked a guy up and fought him. I'm like,
well, seeing how Brick is a legend in powerlifting, so it makes sense.
Oh yeah, you know what, powerlifting, there is a wrestler local to me that, now that I think about it, he's pretty big power lifter up here. I want to see about trying to get them to. Yeah, I'm. You know what? I'm on a mission. I'm going to try to make that damn thing happen, because the guy up here, and I haven't met Brick in person, but the guy up here, I kid you not, his arms are as big as my thighs.
That's Brick. Brick's
I
like
was
that.
gonna guess. I was gonna guess that was probably the same with him, but yeah.
Brick is just one of those ones. As soon as they come out of the curtain, all eyes are on him. Like, holy shit!
Yeah, that is me every time I've watched any of his matches. I'm just like,
If
oh,
I do ever have the pleasure of being in the ring with Brick, I'll have that look. But then I'm just like, here we go. I'm ready to go. I'm not gonna back down. Let's do this. I get my
oh yeah.
ass kicked for a living.
All right. Now, next person, I've got to meet her one time, and it was through my friends out at Warrior Wrestling out of Chicago. They had a St. Louis stop that, you know, they invited me and the podcast out to be a part of the fan fest.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Athena.
Athena, I love Athena. Um, oh man, I have learned so much from her. It is insane. And what's crazy is that she has so much information she forgets sometimes. And just like as we're doing something, she'll be like, "Oh shit, here we go. Throw this in. Wow." And just seeing the love that she has for it, just it makes me want to get better too. And seeing how she made me a student trainer shows that she sees something in me, and
Oh
that makes me feel better about it. And plus, she's always on my ass, so she'll that I need that kind of accountability.
oh yeah. And the thing right now that I enjoy with her, especially when it comes to Ring of Honor, the entire run that she's having in Ring of Honor, especially since they started the whole minion thing,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, oh my god, that is some entertaining as hell stuff.
Yeah, and I actually got to have the pleasure of being in that last promo of hers where she got chokeslammed to the door. I was actually
Ooh.
I was in the ring at the time when Nyla came in and did all that. Uh, and just doing that, I was like, hell yeah! I was like, I can't wait for more.
Oh
That was just a
yeah.
nice little foot in the door in the sense.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, that is awesome. I know. Yeah, I was watching that and just thinking, okay, this is gonna be one entertaining, hard hitting match right here. The two of
Mm-hmm. And
them, Nyla Rose and Athena, that's just gonna be nuts.
and from Athena's training, I know she does not hit light. So yeah, you are right. It's going to be a slobber knocker.
Another one of those, yeah, definitely. Now, next one, a guy I've never personally got to meet, but I've heard nothing but good things about him. The world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
See, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him, and I've only heard good things from Athena, and she's like she says that's like one of her family members in a sense. So, and just all the help that he's given her too, and it will translate to her helping all of us in the sense. Uh, I loved his run when he became world champion.
Oh, that
Uh,
Hall of Pain thing.
yeah, the Hall of Pain. I was like, I'm bought into this. Like, it's like I didn't hate him because he obviously when he was healed, but like, it's like it was just that respect of like, oh, he's a bad guy, but you can't hate it. Of like, he's gonna run through you.
Oh yeah, he definitely had that in him there. I mean, he always had it, but there was something special about that Hall of Pain run that he had.
God, it was so good,
Now,
and
last but
I didn't
oh,
expect it to
go ahead.
happen. Oh no, I didn't even expect it to happen. When it did, I was like, hell yeah, about time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was right along there with you. Now, last but not least, here, I like to tell people that I don't get starstruck too easily. I've gotten lucky enough to meet a handful of my favorites. One of my hobbies, displaying behind me here, wrestling figures. I've got a handful signed.
Mm-hmm.
But if I ever got to meet this guy, I don't think I'd be able to get a word out. I just have this person built up so much in my head that like I step in the room and I'd just be like, holy shit, that's actually them. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Man, don't even get me started. That I pretty much I'm I like to mess around. I like mess around like I'm the Stone Cold of MPX because that's kind of where the rugged stuff came from in the sense of having that attitude. Um, yeah, I'd probably act the same way as you, and I never really get starstruck when I meet people because I know that they're all people too in the sense they're doing what their
Yeah.
job, what they love. But that, yeah, you're probably right. I will probably be that same person being starstruck over him. Damn well we'll talk to him though. I ain't afraid to talk to him.
Oh yeah.
Just to get
No.
any info out of him would be amazing.
Oh yeah. Like I'm sure once I got over that initial shock of like, holy shit, that's actually him.
Yeah, like let
Then
me
I'd be
breathe.
able to
Let me breathe.
ask something. But yeah, like I've been able to meet a few of my favorites, like Swerve and Keith Lee. I got figures signed by each of them, and especially now with Swerve, holy shit, the
God
run that he's on, and I'm telling you,
deserves
it's
every bit.
oh god,
Every bit.
absolutely, absolutely, and it was funny for me thinking back on the interaction that I had with him because right now he plays one sadistic son of a bitch,
Yeah.
but
God.
the interaction that I had with him couldn't have been nicer.
I
It's
haven't gotten to
funny.
meet him either. Like there's a handful I haven't gotten to meet, but there's also a handful I have gotten to. I know one of the nicest people I've met, and anytime I asked him a question was Alex Shelley. Uh, got to do a seminar with Alex Shelley as well, and normally stuff I don't like to do. What I learned, I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to be doing that. And just so much info he has, and any question you have, he's more than willing to help. It's just I love how there's those people in wrestling that they're just so nice, and it helps. It's like wrestling is so welcoming too.
Mm.
Uh, there's not I don't really know if there's really gatekeeping from wrestling sometimes, but just how everybody is welcoming into wrestling is so amazing. And
Oh
he
yeah.
is probably one of my favorite seminars I've done. Besides, because I've done his seminar, I've done a D'Lo Brown seminar. Uh, God, you can learn a lot from D'Lo Brown.
Oh, I imagine.
Uh, and I have the pleasure of working with him sometimes at Texoma Pro because I wrestle there as well. Um, and I've also done a Michael Tarver seminar. Uh, he was the one who told me of being yourself, make
Mm.
that character yourself to 100%, and never didn't stop looking back from there.
That is awesome.
I haven't done a lot of seminars, but from the few I've done, I've learned so much, and I learn every single weekend because the pleasure of MPX Metroplex Wrestling is it's every weekend and getting those reps in. So
Mm.
I get to be here every Saturday unless I'm somewhere else because this is my home promotion. I just love being here.
That is awesome because you don't see too many promotions out there that do that every weekend. Like
Yeah.
most places, it's like once a month. Some places every other month. So to
Mm-hmm.
have that place that you can, like you said, get those reps in, invaluable. Like just a great thing to have.
Yeah.
Now, next, I have, like I mentioned towards the beginning, some random questions. Some might be wrestling related, some might not be, some might have absolutely nothing to do with anything we've talked about so far. So I give you the question, first answer that pops in your head. First one, craziest in match moment for you.
it would have had to been the death match I did because um, when I ended up bleeding, I had the crimson mask. I had it all down, and what was crazy is just how thick it was. I was technically half blind, so I'd say 3/4 of that match I was half blind because I had to keep trying to wipe it out of my eyes because I could not see. So like, luckily my opponent was wearing white, so I could see him. I'd like look around, like, all right, that's you, run and hit. In the sense that I was like, cool, I know it's you. I would feel like that was probably one of the craziest moments.
No.
And just, I would say that just because I've done hardcore, just like normal hardcore matches. I'd say those are eye opening as well because that does not feel good. But
I
like,
can imagine. I
it's
know.
weird in the moment you feel it and it sucks, but then after you're like, oh wow, that was awesome.
Now I talking about death matches. I mentioned the one with Jake Christ, which awesome dude right there. I've got nothing but great things to say about him. I've got to meet him in person a handful of times, even after a family tragedy that I had. One of the first shows that I went to that, came up, talked to me, kind of gave me a bit of a pep talk. Didn't have to, but did, so nothing but great things. But the moment that I'm going to bring up now was actually here in Omaha, Nebraska, where I'm from. There was a no ring deathmatch show.
Oh,
and
wow.
They had set up this door on, I forget what the hell they set it up on, but one guy got set on the table, another guy went on this ledge that was like a little bit above it, and went to leap onto the guy on the door. Well, the guy on the door rolled off, but when he went, the door kind of went with him, and the guy landed on the door like that.
Oh,
ribs and everything. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Like, in the moment, it's going to suck, but after, they'll be like,
Yeah.
That adrenaline wore off.
I actually got a picture with the guy that landed on the door after, and yeah, he seemed, a little sore, but fine.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I talked a little bit about one of my hobbies, back here, some of my collections that I got. What is a hobby that you have, if any?
I really don't do anything else. So, because if I'm not wrestling, I'm at work, and then the gym. So I guess gymming would be a hobby. I've been dedicating myself more to the gym and like pretty much just getting my look better. Because I feel like I've been doing pretty good of like with my wrestling and my character. That cool. I have those two. Now let me get this part.
That makes sense. That's a good way to go about things. You gotta always be in shape when it comes to the in-ring aspects
that is
of
that.
wrestling.
Luckily, I'm an athlete, so that's what helped me get through everything. And once, because like I've had people tell me like they don't expect to see the way I move when they do, so they're like dumbfounded. I'm like, yeah, like I've worked my ass off for this little bit of stuff, so I'm like, I really appreciate anything I get because I'm not used to, well, what would you say? I'm not used to compliments in that sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, being introduced to wrestling and compliments, I'm like, oh, this is new for me.
Yeah. Same thing with me with the podcast. Never in the world did I think that I would ever get recognized anywhere, but I've been recognized at a show. I've even been recognized at the zoo here in town, which that one was wild because my family was there with me. And
you're like,
they
oh
just
wow.
looked at me like, what was that? And I told them, they're like, oh, okay. But it was just wild, and me being my own worst critic, not being used to the compliments, it's always like, holy shit, okay, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then outside of that, I'm just a big TV fan. I just like watching TV shows pretty much, and I'm very 420 friendly, I'll say. So
I
I could say that's a hobby, I guess.
yeah, I can't say for myself because here in Nebraska, it's not, I don't even think it's legal medically. But the way I always tell anybody when, from outside of the state that asks about it, I'm like, you know what? If it's legal where you're at and you're treating it just like you would alcohol and not going overboard, then whatever, do you?
Yeah, yeah, it's prescription. Um, I have it like that. It's more for my body, just because I know the benefits of it. That's like, so I don't smoke cigarettes. Like, I drink occasionally. It's not a lot like that. I don't vape. It's pretty much the only thing I do is marijuana in the sense, because I just know the benefits of for it for my body. And honestly, I think that's why it's kept going for the 4 or 5 years I've been doing this, and I still feel pretty good. And knowing that, and I've taken some dumb stuff. I wouldn't say a lot, but just from the stuff I have done, I'm like, all right, I don't feel that bad, so I'm cool.
That's good. Now, next question here. We're, as of recording this, we're coming up within the next week or so of the Super Bowl. A big
Uh,
a big food thing. I could go into topics about, what sports team do you go for? I mean, I know who I'm going for because, most of my in-laws go for this team, even though I'm a cheesehead. But the food thing, their Super Bowl parties are known for having just an absolute shit ton of food. What would you say is a favorite food of yours?
Wings.
Oh, yeah.
I
Can't
just
go wrong there.
Wings. If you have tacos though too, we're talk now we're talking. But wings is the go-to thing if I'm watching football or like for Super Bowl.
Oh,
Um,
totally.
God, now you get making me hungry thinking about wings.
I just had some last night.
Damn you! It's been a little bit since I've had wings, so now I know what I'm having this weekend.
Yep. I'm definitely going to be checking into what we're doing for the Super Bowl because, my in laws team ended up making it. So I know they're going
Who
to be
is your
doing
in-laws
some
team?
49ers.
Okay. I'm actually going to be rooting for the Niners over the Chiefs. I think it's just because NFC. So I I grew up a Cowboys fan, but I'm not like the crazy nut of football in the
That
sense.
think every year is going to be the year you find
Yeah,
the Super Bowl again.
I learned that a long time ago. That just don't think that way. But I will always root for them. Yeah. I'm just not crazy about it in the sense of fighting over it and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no,
I
I
I
get.
love the game.
Oh yeah, no, I get you there. Hell, the last year I've got to go to two regular season Packers games, one in Lambeau, and actually just this last New Year's Eve, I was at the Packers Vikings game in Minnesota.
Oh wow.
That was fun. And I was a little worried because my brother has been to a Packers Vikings game up there, and he didn't have so pleasant of an experience.
Hmm.
But me, I had I don't think I had one unpleasant run in the entire time,
Mm-hmm.
which was nice, including one of them giving me they had this small little bucket full of these giant fried cheese curds.
Oh God.
They weren't going to eat them. They're like, well, I spent all this money, so they just gave them to me.
Like, hey, that's a win.
So yeah, they're like, well, somebody better eat them. I'm like, well, I will. Hell, especially if you're just going to give them to me. Damn.
Right.
All right. Now, with the name of a show like I have, I would feel weird if I didn't have this question. I know you said you didn't drink much, but what would you say favorite drink, whether it be alcoholic or non, or hell, one of each if you want?
So I recently cut out soda over a month ago, I say, or probably more. It's been very beneficial. I'm stuck on liquid death water right now, so I can just keep used to drinking water because I can't stand sink water and all that stuff. But if I did have to have, damn it, if I did have to have an alcoholic drink, you can't go wrong with Crown. So whiskey is a pretty good one. If I got a smooth whiskey, it's always good. But when I go out, I usually like some like green tea shots or white tea shots. And if I had a beer, weirdly, Corona has been pretty good that I like. Throws a lime in, makes it good. And I would say Michelob Ultra just because of it's not how it's light, I guess, because the taste. Because I honestly can't stand the taste of beer and alcohol and all that. But like, if I can find the bearable ones, cool. It'll get the job done.
Oh yeah, no, I can get you there. I know. I'm big into Dos Equis. I do like that. Whiskey, I actually stumbled on this one time because I'm a bit of a Dr. Pepper fiend. I just grabbed a can and then I walked by. I had one of those little shooter bottles of Jack Honey. I just like dumped it in there and delicious.
I'm gonna have to try that. My Tommy is a Dr. Pepper nut. He literally constantly drinking that. He literally drinks it before training. And if you've seen this dude, you'd be like, yeah, I see why he can because he's got a fucking fast ass metabolism. And my brother's ripped as shit, so that's where it's like, that's what's cool about me and him is where we're yin and yang in that sense. We're two different. We're the different sizes. He's tall and shredded, and I'm short and stocky.
And another beer that I actually like, I was just thinking about this because I actually have a can displayed behind me. Stone Cold's Broken Skull American Lager.
I have not had that.
It is delicious.
Try it. I should try
it. It is like, you would think that, Stone Cold would know how to, put his name behind a quality beer. And like first taste of that, I'm like, God damn, yep. He knows how to do it.
I've recently been on some moonshine. I got two good moonshines for Christmas. It was like a strawberry cream moonshine, something like that, and then a wooden drop one.
Ooh, I know one that I haven't had too many different varieties of it, but one that jumps out to me that I really loved was apple pie moonshine.
Oh, I've had that too, and that is so damn good.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing this weekend.
All right. Now, last but not least here, best advice you have for anybody wanting to get into wrestling.
You you have to dedicate your life to this. If you're wanting to make it in it, it has to be wrestling 24/7. You can't come in with like a weak body in the sense. You have to be able to you got to be in the gym a lot. But training is always, you can't stop training because you'll always learn something new. Um, God, more advice. I'm terrible at the advice part,
It's all good. Because I
but
mean, you made a good point because the training aspect of it all, it's an ever evolving thing. You're always learning new stuff. You always got things you can improve on. So
and I'll tell you, it's expensive.
no, I can imagine. I know. I've got plenty of friends up here that are in the business, and yeah, I hear all the time how expensive it can get. From some of the seminars can be expensive, and then there's getting good quality gear and all that can.
Yep.
And then getting like good quality merch, getting all that and everything adds up to quite a bit.
Yeah, you got to give up a lot of stuff in the sense because you're always doing something on the weekends. Like you have your job throughout the week. If you have a shoot job, you do have your job throughout the week, and then the weekend you're doing all your wrestling stuff, and it's still like kind of work, but it's fun work.
Yeah.
So it's like you're never stopping moving, unless you obviously you get that little bit of time to rest, whatever. But that's the best advice I can give. Of like it's gonna, if you want it, it's got to be your life.
Yep, no, definitely makes sense because there's especially if you want to get to the big national TV stages, you're gonna be gone for quite a good chunk of time.
I can't wait for that kind of opportunity. That's why I just stay working. It's always training every week and watching wrestling.
Yep.
If that moment ever do comes, I will sign on the dotted line. And that's
Oh yeah, you never know when that next show is going to have somebody that's out scouting talent for one of those places. So you always got to be prepared.
Very
Now,
much.
oh yeah. Now, before we go, where can people find you social media wise? So if they don't already have their eyes on you, they can go ahead and get them there.
So you can find me on Instagram, mainly on Instagram, Facebook, under Gabe Wilder. I think my Instagram is Rugged Wilder. I try to get on Twitter more. I'm not very good at the social media part, but I'm getting better. But you can mainly find me on Facebook and Instagram.
Definitely we'll get that in the description. But that is about all I have. I think my dogs are trying to call me for getting their dinner, so I better get to getting back to them. But thank you for taking the time to talk to me tonight. Best of luck out there in 2024 from Metroplex, Hot Pro Wrestling, Texoma, and everywhere in between.
No, it was a pleasure. It was just having the honor of being on here that you wanted to talk to me just makes me know I'm doing my job. So I can't thank you even more.
It's an honor and a privilege to have you on, and definitely welcome back anytime.
Thank you, sir. And hope to see you in person eventually.
Yes.